I been getting money for a while now. Nigga, you just start getting paid. Nigga, calm down. Bitch, I been trapping, getting it in, I make it happen. Bitch, we get money for real. This ain't no Bow Wow challenge.
Tell us a little bit about your label.
So I own VRS Recording Studios. I specialize in hip-hop and R&B, rap stuff. I was also trained in country and rock in Nashville for a while. And then did some training in Cincinnati at Timeless Recording Studios, so shout out Timeless.
And how long have you been producing?
About 7 years, and about 4 years professionally. In the first few years, we were just screwing around in my mom's house, and then kind of needed someone to learn the engineering side of it, so I kind of fell into that. I still make my own music, but that's more in the background, and producing engineering kind of took the foreground.
Who inspired you to start producing?
Man, this might sound cliche, but Dr. Dre is like huge inspiration to me. When we used to freestyle when I was like 16, I'd always pull up a Dre beat, and then when I first started producing, I'd reference Dre beats, so I'd pull up a Dre beat and kind of try to make a beat sound similar to that. Like, why'd he do this? He always mixes his clap and snare super loud, which stands out to me because it almost is so loud it makes your ear ring, but it forces you to feel his beat because that's holding the rhythm. Right. So, you know, I just started going back through all his old projects and the records that he produced, and I like to kind of carry myself with artists the way he does, about trying to build them up and figure out what their strengths are, their weaknesses are. He's just not press and record and that's it. You know?
Exactly. You said you started at what age when you started producing? It was what?
I think I was about 17 when I started actually recording other people, but I've been recording my own songs since I was 14, writing songs, and like, you know, I started with 2 iPhones, one playing a beat, one recording on a voice memo. Then I got a USB mic, and I had this mobile mic. Yeah, and then it's just progress, and you kind of reinvest back into your sound over time, but you can't start with everything, so you got to figure out how to get there. I think a big thing for me is like, anybody's goals as an artist or businessman or businesswoman, anything, what are your goals, and then how do you take steps to get there? Are you doing things that are helping you? Are you surrounding yourself with people that are helping you get there? You know, if not, it doesn't necessarily mean you got to cut them off, but it just means that like you got to realize this is like downtime when I'm hanging out with such and such because they're not helping my career. And that kind of just phases some people out, and like it's kind of cool because you meet new people that way. The new people that you meet might be people who are where you want to be or beyond, and that's kind of how you portray and project yourself up into where you want to be.
So, networking. How important is it once you start trying to really get your name out there? How important is it to how you network and what you're networking?
Networking is obviously very important because the saying about it's who you know, it's not what you know. The more people you know, you can kind of use their knowledge to your advantage and vice versa versus having to learn it all yourself. You know, so I'm a guy that's been doing photo, video, audio, you know, in several different ways, but I know people who are much better than me at video that I'm going to call in when I'm doing a shoot and I'm not sure how to deal with this, or they got a drone, and that's helped me out tenfold. I do a lot to network. I go to events. I actually met the artist today that came in through events I was at, and connections I've made since then. Some of the connections I've made then, they've referred me so much work that like I could just focus on those new clients. That's how much work it is. So it more than pays off in terms of money. Like fast, it'll pay off because of the money, but also it pays off because of what you can learn from people. You know, ask people to intern or apprentice. You know, ask them to be your mentor for something. You know, I paid 10 bands for just one of my things I did, one of my apprenticeships. So, yeah, I got a certification, but what mattered to me was being an apprentice to somebody who was already doing this for 20 years, who worked with artists like Post Malone and Young Thug, so K-Camp, you know. So, networking is important. It's not so simple as go to networking events, but host your own, you know, do a podcast. Try to make a Facebook Live or a Zoom meeting. You know, I've been trying to work into that with the whole virtual situation right now. Never treat people poorly, because I like the saying that people you see on the way up are the people you'll see on the way down. You know, a lot of people get something out of you or get something from you or get that free time, and then they don't hit you up again, and you know, maybe they even start talking down on you. You know, you're not going to work with them again, and that's an unnecessarily burnt bridge. And especially in hip hop, A lot of people don't give a shit and they just start burning bridges, and then it comes back to bite them in the ass. So you want to maintain relationships. It's not just about networking that day, that night. Email him later and say, hey man, I got some beats, you know, if you want one for free, I'll get you one. Say later, hey, you want to do a feature because, you know, I really like your last 3 songs. And even if it's like bullshitting them a little bit, be engaged in their stuff. That's just huge, networking on social media and in person.